Hi, Lindsay.
Hi. How are you?
Good. Living in a crazy house, but I'm doing okay.
Good, good.
Good. Okay, well, I wanted to welcome you to the Cat Chat podcast. And thank you for finding a day and a time that works for both of us, even though we both have busy lives,
Yes.
family, life.
Yep, that's the way it goes. We just juggle.
Yes, for sure. I didn't realize today I had my son had the birthday party, then I have a part-time job. Oh, okay. And I read the podcast in the morning. Okay, I could do that.
Yes. Yes, we can. We're moms.
For sure. Okay. First of all, I want to talk about the two books. We have the Christmas Promise and we have the Christmas Coin. I wanted to say both of these books are just amazing.
Thank,
Beautiful.
thank you. That means a lot.
No, seriously, I'm not reading on the Kindle. I need to have the book in my hand. So I
Oh,
will order them and I will pick up where I left off and I would just like, go back a few chapters and I would just read and it's just beautiful. So I'm like, I need more. And
oh.
this is not enough. I need more. That's what I told my friend Savannah about her
Uh-huh.
book, The Second Chance Library, that I need more. Give me
Yeah.
something. Because I have something coming up in 2025. I,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. I have Fly Away Summer, my last summer's Christmas book that came out last year if you need more. But I have two books coming out next year.
Okay. That's what I need. I need more. So I'm going to look up Fly Away Summer after that and then put in an order. But these two books here,
Yeah.
each book has a very special, unique story.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about each of them with similar questions, what I have. So I like how you incorporate your writing in like a timely timeline fashion. Like you started off with the history and you sort of introducing something. I'm not going to try to spoil the book here. I'm going to try to get the overall plot. So,
Yes.
because each story seems to have some kind of a historical connection from the past and then it carries on to the future. So I'm
Right.
going to jump all over the place. So
Yeah.
how do you involve your writing with the historical timeline into the present timeline?
So a lot of research goes into a historical piece of the book. So I couldn't I could imagine doing for historical romance writers, they have to do a whole book. And that's probably a really hard to do because for me, I had to do that for each scene in each of the books. So what I do, I actually don't write any of the historical scenes until the manuscript is done. Then I go in and I piece it together because I have to get the overall arch of the story, my character's growth. I have to see where they're going, and then I tie it together. So take the Christmas Promise, where the past and the present come together in a very unique way. I don't want to give it away and how it does, but I had to see where Charlotte was going to end up and so I knew where to piece it in, if that makes sense. And so because it's not the whole book, it's just chapters, as you can see, I call them little historical flashbacks, so to speak, in a way. So it's a process.
So yeah, but I was like reading the book. I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
writing a book myself too. It could be like a memoir of my life and all. But I'm not going back. I'm like, how did she do that? I mean,
Yeah.
did she like flip flop back and forth? Okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna go do this. But now we enter, you focus on like the present. story, Charlotte and the current characters. And then
Mhm.
when that's done, you should kind of like go back and just like fit in the historical part so that like two manuscripts overlap.
Oh yeah, yeah. And what I do is I put it on a separate document and I do each chapter and then I copy and paste each chapter into the whole storyline and I try to space it out, equally as best I can. And then sometimes I have to write an additional historical piece. So for the Christmas coin, we had to add a couple, added in there because I was like, ooh, if I add this, then the next one will make sense. And so until I see it all into the manuscript, then I can tweak it, so to speak. It's a process, but I love doing it because I'm a history lover. I love doing all that because New England has so much history, and so it's almost like I'm back in history class again when I do the research. So it's fun.
That's amazing. I mean, I just like how the writers, like sometimes the writers have a favorite genre or a favorite time of history past or even in the past or present or somewhat in the future
Right.
and you just make a story out of it. Just mind blowing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, with those stories, the Christmas promise and the Christmas coin, were there any like personal touching of you or your personal moment in your life that had the purpose of maybe why you picked that specific story or plot to write
Mhm.
about?
Well, I put a piece of me in all of my heroines. And I think, honestly, I think every writer does that. Every fiction writer must do that because that's how we come up with a lot of our stories is kind of thinking about our own life and our own experiences. And I think that's normal. But I don't put my entire personal history into each of my characters. I just pull pieces of it and it helps me to develop my heroines. So you take Charlotte from The Christmas Promise, and there was an aspect of Charlotte that definitely resonated with my own, just with my own life. And trying to say, there's a part that I love where she says, I'm an artist, right? So for me as a writer, with that being my debut, it was hard for me to say I'm a writer now because it's almost like surreal when that first book that got published. And so to take the creative aspect of Charlotte and help her to feel confident in that with her storyline, a part of me was in that as a writer. And then for with Amelia trying to move forward after a tragedy or after a struggle, we've all had struggles in our life. And so I actually wrote a memoir in 2018 and self-published it. So moving forward is was a hard thing for me to do with my own past. So I kind of plugged in my own self into her to give her the courage to move forward. So I'm always kind of plugging that in with my heroines.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I was just like, every time I read a book that like so personal and beautiful and meaningful, so I always thought I would ask
Yeah,
why have a conversation without that into a part of you in that story because I feel like it was personal or deep rooted, whether it's a memoir or whether it's just a
yeah.
story.
Right, right. Yeah, always, always. All my characters, even the two books I'm working on for next year, there's new parts of myself that I'm putting into those heroines, and I can't wait for you to meet them next year.
Yeah, I can't wait. Sign me up. I'm just like, I fuck. So this
And
book
there's
is really looking forward to every kind of author. I kind of connect them with them. Like, this book is amazing. I really want to talk about it. Like, sure, let's do it. I'm like, Okay, sure. And then the ball kept rolling on. So that's really pretty amazing.
Right, right. Well, and just so you know, Christmas 2025 will also have a history flashbacks. So that's sort of my signature now for Christmas.
Yay, can't wait for that. Okay, now with those two books, now I know you talked about like you write the historical and the part that were there any challenges? Like, did you have like a moment where you're like, what am I doing? Do I keep going? Is it gonna be two books? Or what kind of challenge did you input with those two books or any of the books in general?
You mean, did I have a moment where I should make them into a sequel? Is that what you're
Yeah.
asking? I would love to write a sequel. I've been asked many times for all three of my books so far to do a sequel. So the more my publisher sees that, maybe they will allow for a sequel to happen because it's sort of like a publisher's call on that one. I think if they see the requests, I'd be more than happy to continue on with the sequel. I definitely have thought about if I wrote a sequel for The Christmas Promise and The Christmas Coin. I would love there's definitely some aspects to different characters in both of those stories. For the maybe I'll do Charlotte's sister for The Christmas Promise. See what happens with her because Claire, if you think about it, it's like, oh, poor Claire, what's going to happen with her now? Or a lot of people have asked for Troy. What's going on with Troy? And from The Christmas Promise, Charlotte's boss, maybe. Maybe I could do a spin-off with him. But I definitely have already been asked for The Christmas Coin. People would love to see what happens with Amelia's sister-in-law, and I won't give away why. At the end, you know what happens at the end with her sister-in-law, and what happens then? What does she do? So there's so many different sequels I could do because of all the characters, and so put in the request. A lot of people put it in their reviews. I'd love to see.
I'm like looking at each of these books and I'm trying to predict. I'm like, okay, if I was Lindsay and thinking about writing a second book, which
Yeah,
character will be the focus or which story should
yeah,
be told next?
right.
So that pretty much a good opportunity try for one with about like what happens with the boss. I mean, like with the whole connection with the Christmas painting. I try, I can't with that, but I'm like, come on, I'm like, read it down. Okay, come
Yeah.
on. What's going on? Where's the painting? What did Troy do? There was like a moment in that book where I'm like, Troy, come on, don't do that. She like someone else. Get over yourself. Good one.
I,
Almost kind of like a Hallmark thing, and I read out the, okay,
yeah.
no.
My publisher made me tone Troy down. He was a lot more vocal and funnier in the original manuscript. So maybe we just need justice for Troy. Let's make him a sequel, maybe a novella.
So if you guys want to know what we're talking about, Troy, you have to pick up a copy of the Christmas Promise and read about Troy. You may like him, you may not like him, you might want to throw your book out to grab the book again to finish the story.
Yes. Get to the end because everybody likes Troy in the end. Yeah.
Okay, okay, where is that? What did you do? No. I had another thought that someone close to Charlotte bought the painting. I wanted to just surprise her with that. And then the whole story
Mhm.
close to an end. It was just
Right.
perfect.
That's right.
Out of these two books, okay, let's talk about the Christmas Promise. If you're a band of Hallmark, do you have any like imagination or pictures what do you imagine your characters by whom?
We've gone through so many. I always like to ask my hosts, have you thought about it? Because every single host has a different character. We've gone through so many different ones. Aiden, Aiden and Ben. So Ben is from the Christmas Coin, Aiden from the Christmas Promise. They're similar yet different. Obviously, from the Christmas Coin, he's a dad. We thought, well, who's a girl dad from our list of Hallmark actors? And I've had so many different suggestions, but we have to find one for the Christmas Coin that is a little more rugged and reserved. Like, a little serious at first, but can come alive by the end of the story as he comes out of his shell. Because as you read Ben's character in the Christmas Coin, he's got a wall. I mean, he's trying to raise his two daughters on his own. That's hard. And he is very, very protective. So I pulled pieces of my husband into Ben because that's how my husband is. Now, my husband is he's from Ireland, so he's got the Irish brogue, and he's very hard and he's very works with his hands kind of guy. But over the years, I've gotten him to come out of his shell a little bit. So that's the character that we need to find. And yeah, I have a list. I'm in the middle of a move, so I don't have my list with me, but I do have a list of all the possibilities for each book. So I'm curious, is there any that you thought of as you're reading through?
I'm gonna be honest with you. No, but both of them, Christmas Promise and Christmas Coin, I am, my mind is scrambling. Okay, put this guy in, nope, that's the one. Put this guy in, nope, that's the one.
No,
Uh, the one that keeps coming back for the Christmas Promise after the ballerina.
no, that's the corn.
No,
The cookie
that's the
coin.
Christmas Coin. Ben, okay.
Yes.
Ben, a completely a picture of Brandon Penny.
Okay, okay. Yep,
Brandon Penny.
yep. Okay.
And he was down off a little bit reserved. And
Hmm.
then he would warm up.
Yes.
In
Yes.
fact, there was one Christmas movie that he was in, but I can't remember which movie he was in. But I think he adopted a boy.
Hmm.
It was the Season for Love. I can't remember. Season for Love. I can't remember the name of the movie.
Yep.
But it reminded me of him. I was like, So that one character that keeps coming back.
That's
But
a good one. Good one.
but Aiden. Mm.
Yeah. Aiden Aiden was hard. Aiden was hard for me. Yeah, he's hard
He was
because he's
tired. I
not.
was like going back and forth. I'm like, no, because he's like, he's
Yeah,
more like a child. He helped the parent run the inn, and he has
right.
his own thing. So, yeah.
Anyone.
But the girl, I'm just like, I'm not throwing things out. I'm like throwing in Rachel Boston for the
Mhm.
Christmas climate, and I'm throwing it in, Shirley Wagner. Maybe that was for the Christmas coin. No, the Christmas promise. So I'm like, just, no, but we're tough. I'm like, my mind screams. I'm like, throw him in that, nope, throw him in, nope. And the mom or like the background people,
Yeah.
but mostly Brendan kept coming back. And I had like a pop in here and there with Rachel Boston because of her personality. So I feel like she's like, she's teachery, she's a mom. She could be like any of the characters. She could be Amelia, could be Charlotte.
Right. Right.
But the good one is tough. With the first few books out there. But normally I would be like, oh, that's the character, that's the guy, that's the girl. But this one I was like, Brandon. Okay, I'm going to stick with Brandon for this one. No. How about Sharon Michael Murray? No, that's the work. How about Tyler? No, I can't see Tyler in that. Andrew Walker? Maybe Andrew Walker. I don't know. So,
But there is there is a Hallmark actress, and I'm drawing a blank on her name. She was a professional dancer, and on another show, the host had brought up her name. I'd have to look it up, and I'll send it to you after. She was a professional ballerina, so I feel like for Amelia, that might help because there might, if it was a movie, we might have some dancing in there. So something like that. But there was one, and I'll send it to you after. But
yeah,
she's a good.
definitely, no problem. So, yeah, I'm going to be honest with those two books. I'm just like a scramble, like here. But maybe I have to reread both books, which I'm happy to. And I'm like, okay, you serious. I'm gonna have my list. I'm gonna throw him, boom, her, boom, and then see what happens.
And then they change.
Well, Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what inspired you to become an author? Did you always wanted to become a writer growing up, or was it just something? I'm gonna try this out.
Yeah. I Okay, so when I was a little girl, and my mom still has them in a box. I wrote miniature like short stories every Christmas for my family. And starting at 7 years old. And I told my parents at 7, I'm going to be an author one day. And they were okay, okay. But as I grew and life continued on, I went off to college. I went to school in Boston. So I went to Northeastern. It was a great time. And I started to think about that. And I always knew that was my passion, but I pushed it aside. I majored in psychology. I got my master's in functional medicine and nutrition with an emphasis on mental health. I saw clients for a very long time. I specialized in postpartum depression. And so I kind of went into this other route, but I got my writing fingers back when I started to put together my memoir because I knew I was gonna write a book one day, and I knew my story would be the first one. And I chose to self-publish it because I didn't want anybody messing with it. That was my story. That was I didn't want anybody to change anything. So I started to put together old journal entries. I talked about some traumas that I went through in my life. And I wanted my readers to connect with me. So if they wanted to get to know me, that book would always be there to see what I've gone through. And a lot of my readers, a lot of my fiction readers have said, as I'm reading your characters and I'm reading the depth that you put into these storylines, yes, it's a happy ending. Yes, they can be made into Hallmark movies, but there's more to them. And when they get to know me, they're like, I could see it now. They kind of connect it. So that memoir was my sort of got me going again in my passion. But then I had my third daughter. She was born in 2018, and that was busy. And then the pandemic happened. That was busy. But I started to write during the pandemic because I was like, well, what else are we going to do? So I started to write, and I started to put together the Christmas Promise. And finally, before I knew it, I had a whole manuscript. It is not the manuscript that you're reading today because it's been edited 4,000 times. But I had put it together. I said, I wrote a book. I wrote a book. It's not published, but I did it. And I had been following Harpeth Road since Jenny opened it in about 2021 or 2022, somewhere around there. And I said, I'm going to submit. And my oldest daughter, I have a daughter who's 18, I have a daughter who's 10, and I have a daughter who's 6. So I'm a mom of 3 girls. My 18-year-old said, Mom, just submit it. Just do it. Like, why not? Like, the worst that's going to happen is a no. And I said, You're right. You're right. So I submitted it to Jenny, and she asked for the full. I couldn't believe it. I was kind of embarrassed too, because I was like, should I? Because it wasn't edited. A lot of writers will edit their full manuscript before they submit. But I was a rookie at this, and I didn't edit it. And I sent her the whole thing, and then here we are. So Jenny is a teacher, and before she was a writer, so that teacher in her came out, and she sent me some feedback to rewrite and resubmit. So I did. And then she took it, and we started editing. It took almost 2 years to edit that book because I had no idea how to structure a story. And then it became the Christmas Promise. So the Christmas Promise will always hold something dear to me because it's my debut. So that's how it started. So it really had started as a child, and then just life happens, which is what it is, and then got back into it, and then here we are, and now I'm writing full time.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, like I tell with my authors or writers who I've had on the Cat Chat podcast, I was, oh my God, really, I feel like we're similar in many ways because my family, well, my mom started the family basically right full of English professors, writers,
Yeah.
teachers, and all of that. And my daughter, me,
Yeah.
myself, and my daughter, and I would grow up writing poems or short stories just out of the blue. I have everything, everything. and I took a writing class in college because I wanted a teacher. Becoming a teacher that won't work out for me, or I don't, you know, like it, or it takes a toll on me. I should become a writer, short story writer, children's book author, or even an author myself. So I had an idea of writing a memoir during the COVID pandemic, but virtual teaching and my kids were home. That could be on the back burner, And then this summer, I was busy with podcasts, and I was busy with my family because my grandfather decided to downsize from the assisted community to
Mhm.
a completely nursery, which is right down the road. So it's really nice to have him close. I'm 45 minutes away. I'm going to start writing my book that I told myself I would do 2 or 3 years ago. So
Yeah.
for that whole week, 3 to 4 hours every day,
A
uh,
lot. Yeah.
just kept going and kept going and kept going.
Yeah.
And I'm halfway. I'm halfway. So
Yeah.
I have a hearing from who's editing. And once she's done, I'm going to have a doc editor because we share the same perspective and we have the same language. So I really appreciate two of my hearing friends who take their time to read and edit my book. But they were like, I don't want to edit a lot of the book because it's your voice. So are you gonna go through an actual publisher or are you gonna go through self? I don't know, most likely self
Yeah.
because it's my book, like
Right.
you said, my story, and it gives me a reason for me to connect with the
Right.
outside world about me being deaf. Did I
Yeah.
have an easy life? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Maybe I don't. So
Right.
I feel like we're like if we think a lot I've taught what we connect, we have similar ways. So
Yeah.
and I wrote a children's book from a family story, a family tradition. So that's almost done. I just need to figure out how to find or connect with the illustrator that I like that makes perfect with my children's book. So I have two children's books. And then I have my own memoir that was really nice to talk and hear from the experiences. But like you said, the Christmas promise was very special to do, and I really am appreciated and happy that your daughter, especially the old one, the better, see what happened,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
could be bad, what could go wrong. No, my daughter's the same thing. So I'm like, I don't know about you do that. I don't know about you, she can suffer. I mean, if they don't like it, they don't like it. You have it, and you could try someone else 20 years later. Like,
Right.
okay, sure. So
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of that process, and my daughter, creative. She writes short stories, poems, and she's in honors English in high school. So I was like, let me see some of the writing. Let me see. She goes, I'm not ready, God. When I'm ready, I'll let you read it. Okay.
Yeah.
But I, she's creative. I'm not go in the back, in the basement with all of her childhood stuff. I put out that, oh my God, do we remember that you were doing short stories of the little ponies? And you were doing short stories of the three little witches. It was just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And writing is so healing.
Yeah,
So I'm a trauma survivor, and I talk about my PTSD and what I went through in my memoir for 13 years. And writing fiction is a very undertapped you thing to use for healing, whether you're reading fiction or you're writing fiction. Now, writing nonfiction can also be healing, but there's something about fiction because it
yeah,
pulls you away, gives you a break from this crazy world that we live in, and you're able to rest your own emotions that you can feel through these characters and still get the feelings out through them. And so as I'm writing, and the other thing about writing fiction is I can control the ending. Well, I got editors that control the ending, but you know what I mean. I can take my character, give them that arc, get them through, and kind of write my ending. I can't rewrite the things that have happened to me. No, none of us can, right? And but fiction gives you that ability to find other endings that are, and that's why I write happy endings. So I can give all my characters happy endings because we need more happy, right, in this world.
Yeah,
So I that's why that's another reason I chose to write.
yeah, definitely really, really healing. I mean, I'm a friend with that author called Rachel D. Max, and she wrote about her life in being deaf and working in the public school system compared to the deaf school system. A lot of well, not trauma, but a lot of challenges
Yeah.
for that person. So she was healing. So when I got through to the dark point of my life with myself or with my family or with my marriage, just let it all out there. I was like, oh, I feel better because it's out there, you know. So, okay. So yeah, writing and healing, whether it's a poem or just scribble, just leave it on paper. You
Right.
know, yeah, I agree. So I'm really looking forward to keep going and then be ready, see what happened.
Yes, good.
Do you have a favorite book?
I don't, I actually, I've been asked that. I don't have a favorite because I love so many. Whether it's whether it's an old famous children's book or an adult book, but I mean, my own personal library, most of it is kept at my mother's house, because I've been collecting books since I was a child. All the classics, I've loved them all. It's really hard to pick one, and it also depends on the season. So during spooky season, I love psychological thrillers. I think those are fun. Not horror, but I love those psychological ones with a twist. So you got that. But if it's the summer, I'm going to be reading those salty reads, salty beach reads. And so but I love historical romance. I do love that. But so it really just depends on my mood. It depends on the season. And there's so many authors that I love. So I can't just pick one because then I'll be like, wait, I like that author too. So yeah, I can't pick one.
Same. I'm the same way. I should read whatever I'm in the mood for. I'm in the mood for this. I'm in the mood for this. Like
Right.
right now, I'm in between Colleen Hoover and Frida McFadden. I'm not going back and forth, going back and forth. I'm gonna have to wake up with you right now because you're too much. I'm gonna go over there. Too much. I'm gonna go over there. Then I'm like all over the place. And I learned so much about new authors. I was like, oh, she's good. I want more of her books. Oh,
Right.
she just wrote her book. Oh, that's not enough. Or some kind of like fantasy. So yeah, I mean, I had one favorite book growing up because my aunt gave me that book. But that was just something about that book that I would read over and over and over. I can't remember the author's name. I have to find it. But it's called July.
Mhm.
That
July.
timekeeper, like a timekeeper daughter, or that when you go back and forth, the time shifting and stuff.
Yeah.
Timekeeper daughter, time traveler, time
Okay.
traveler. So that's what I was just that book was like my safe haven. So I'm like, I need to read a book. I'm like, I will grab July. I will read it. I can't remember who the author is. I tried to look it up. If there were more books, I was like, not really.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, of course, I have different favorite authors depending on the genre
Right.
or type
Right.
of story.
Yeah. There's so much, so many books out there.
I can't buy it all. I mean, I need another bookshop. My husband like to do shit like go through the book and no, I was like last summer I got rid of 25 books and they asked me to do that again. Hi,
Yeah.
I have like 15 books in my Amazon cart and I come
Right.
home from Target or Walmart with 2 or 3 books.
Yeah. That's right.
Um, but you like any, I know you don't probably have a lot of reading or whatever, but if there's any books that you read, what would you recommend to read or who would you recommend to check out?
Well, I love all of my Harpeth Road. author sisters. We are truly like, we're like a big old family. So any of them, and Jenny has taken on some great ones like Nancy Nagel and Terry Wilson, some romance queens out there. Her herself, Jenny Hale, is a romance queen. So any of my Harpeth Road sisters, I have to put out there first. I have I get a lot of manuscripts before they're published to read. I just got I because of the move, we just bought a house, so we're like in the closing. So I haven't been able to read that list. Right now I'm in the Christmas mode. So whatever new releases are out, I'm trying. My to be read list for the holidays stacking. Because once we get in that house, I'm like, because I like to read at night before I go to bed. I don't know when you read, but it helps me to go to sleep. And so I'm definitely in the Christmas mode right now. But because of this crazy month of moving, I haven't actually been able to read. I've just been trying to keep up with my deadlines for my own book. So, but normally I'm right in the season trying to read. There's another holiday book that came out with Harpeth Road, The Holiday Bake Off. That one's a cute one, and it's by Lindsay. She's the other Harpeth Road Lindsay, oh gosh, D.E. Whitler. I'd have to look it up. But it's called The Holiday Bake Off. I actually I've just started that one. It's really cute, really fun story, and there's got some humor, so it's more of a rom-com in my so far. So that's another fun Christmas one. Then there's the Noel Bridge. I did read that one by Jenny Hale. I don't know if you got that one. That's her latest release. I loved it. I read that one before the
That's on
move
my
started.
list. That's in my Amazon cart right now.
Perfect. That one, you're gonna love it. It's one of my favorites that she's written. So I read that one before the move started. So I was able to like, I read it in September. So I kind of like flew through it and I was like, oh, I love this one. So, and then I'm also reading the second book for the Chestnut Ridge series by Nancy Nagel. So that's her latest Christmas release, the Chestnut Ridge.
That's a
Yeah.
good book.
You'll find it. Yeah. I love that one too. I haven't read it yet, but I have it. It's in my list. Yeah.
Yeah, I read both books for the Chestnut Ridge series. They will do and Christmas the Chestnut Ridge.
Yep.
Good book, good book.
Right, right.
I
Yep.
also told Nancy when I interviewed her back in March, I was reading The Child Collector. That's
Yes. Love that.
one of my favorite. I've read it 4 times. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I've got to read it, but I only bought one book to a while. That was Child Collector because that was the book I would take my time and
Yes.
read it. I was told Nancy, may please make another book. I need to know time will find love. Please write another book.
You'll she has a sequel coming. See, you know that, right? A sequel coming for the Shell Collector. I'm excited.
Oh,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
one of my favorites, and my mom started reading about it. She finished it, and one of my friends started reading out. Anytime, please, can we talk about it? It's just beautiful. I mean, I like the meaning. I she like everything about that book. And I
Right.
know there's the movie. I'm trying to figure out how to watch the movie because it's really not on any of the streaming services.
I know. I know. Yeah. I know.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. So I appreciate you coming on, but I'm gonna give you the hot spot. If you want to share any comment or if you want to ask me any questions before we close.
What was your favorite part? Without giving away the obviously the endings, what was your favorite part about each of my heroines, Amelia and Ben's story, and Aiden and Charlotte's story? Do you have a favorite aspect of each?
Hmm, okay, okay, the equipment
Or
primer
favorite part?
and
Or a favorite part?
I'm looking at the equipment coin and um I like how they use the equipment coin to determine luck and to figure out if we have the equipment on something good could happen to you. But and I like how they not expect the good or the love to happen right away. It just carries on for them forever.
Mhm.
And I like how the twist I'm not going to explain what the trick is, but you know what I'm talking about. But the whole trick toward the end of the book, I was like, you can't be mad at her. She's trying
No,
to help. Come on, don't be like that.
I
I
know.
just like how something means something, and there's like a pattern, and we figure it out. I mean, to be honest, both of these books are my favorite. I mean, there's so many favorite moments or favorite part of the character because of the meaning and how it flows. So I really like how the coin. Okay, she didn't want to run. What's wrong with the coin? Did something happen? And when I read it, I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
okay. And I see a little bit bitterness, but I like how it ended and how everybody was very, I'm sorry, this is my fault. I should have done this. Or I'm sorry, I should have done it in a better way or in a better timely manner because someone passed away and you never know if it was too late
Right.
to honor your regret or anything. But I also like how do like made the characters banter a little bit, like with the coffee and everything. Just, I do appreciate you telling my daughter this. I'm gonna, it was not meant to do. I was trying to perk up from what I learned at the ballerina and my mom. Sorry, won't do that again. So I
Right.
really enjoyed that. Brandon Penny coming back to my mind right now for Ben. So maybe he and Ben. For the Christmas time is the whole thing. It was just warm. It was just loving.
Yeah.
Like the whole Christmas Inn and bed and breakfast and how the storm just like got rid of all the electricity and they were improvised.
Hmm. Yeah. I
I
loved
was my
writing.
favorite part. I really liked the whole storm. I was like, something's gonna happen. And then almost, I was like, no, okay, try again.
Yeah, the almost kiss, right? Also about the coin, just so you know, and I'm going to share this on social media, as we go through this Christmas season. My husband and I, so I grew up 40 years in New England. I'm a New Englander, even though we're down in South Carolina right now. Our house was a 1764 year house. It was old. My husband found a British coin in that house. That's where the idea of the Christmas coin came from. And he's also Irish. So that tradition that you're reading in that book is an old Celtic tradition of giving the bride a coin. So I just when we found that coin, my husband looked at me, he goes, "Go, I know you've got a book on your coming out of you." And I'm like, "Okay." So I ran to go take notes, but that's what started the Christmas coin. So we still have it. Now, it's not worth as much as I made it worth in the book because I thought, well, let's amp up the worth of this coin a little bit more. We got it evaluated. It was worth about $200 for the coin that we found. Okay. But I was like, nah, we're gonna push it up a little bit for this coin in this story. And so I started doing a lot of research on coins, but that actually did happen. So I thought that was a fun thing to share. And I'm gonna share more about that on social media
I
because
had
people
a
have asked me.
feeling, I had a feeling. I was looking at the cover, but I was like, please, let that be the real coin. Don't
That
be
would be nice.
the brain something. There had to be something. So that was really cool. How
Yeah.
that like incorporated into something. I love your husband. I'm like,
Yeah.
go.
I'll make
I know what you're gonna do with it. Just go. Just go.
People have asked me to bring him onto the podcast recording so they can listen to his accent.
Ah, well, you can tell him hi.
Yeah, I was like, okay. But he won't. He's too shy. He won't do it. So, yeah.
That is so awesome. I really like that fun fact about that Christmas corn.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Bunny, if there's no other questions, I'm going to say thank you for your time, for coming on the Cat Chat podcast, and good luck with, trying to settle in your new house and everything, and no pressure on the next upcoming book that I will
Yeah.
be looking forward to read.
Thank you for having me. And if you need a little bit of more of my books, again, you could read my summer book that came out last summer. No history pieces to it, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up your list right now because I want to read your memoir. So I'm gonna look that up. Bye bye. Sorry, this is homework required.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun, and we will be in touch, I'm sure, in the future for more.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you. Have a great afternoon, Lindsay. Take care.
Too.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.